everybody, welcome to Rocco Baby Crochet. So today's quick tutorial I'm going to be showing you how we do a UK treble crochet. So you may see that abbreviated in patterns as TC. It's also known, if your pattern is written in US terminology, it's also known as a double crochet in US terms, which is where I mentioned in our last tutorial that you really, if you are following along with the pattern, you want to make sure you read your pattern completely to find out whether it's been written in US abbreviations or UK abbreviations. So here on this channel I use UK abbreviations. It can be a little confusing, so if you, like I said, if you're following a pattern, make sure you know which terminology the pattern is written in. So what I'm going to show you today is the real basic treble crochet and moving up into another row. Now there are a few ways that you can do this, but I wanted to keep it really simple for absolute beginners, and we'll cover some different ways of moving up rows when we're using these taller stitches like treble crochets in future tutorials. So go ahead and make yourself your foundation chain. If you're a little bit unsure about that, I'll pop a link in the description to the tutorial that covers how we make our foundation chain, and then we'll work up some treble crochets. So once you've got your foundation chain, what we want to do is we're going to begin by crocheting into the 4th chain from the hook. So we count back our V's, so there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is where I'm going to be placing my first official treble crochet. So you want to bear this in mind when you're making your foundation chain. You're going to be losing 3 of your chains on the end, so you may want to add on a couple of extra chains just to account for that. If you're making something like a scarf, you will lose a few stitches with this method. Now there are some other methods of moving up in rows in treble crochets, but I just wanted to keep this tutorial really beginner friendly and for absolute beginners, and as I add to these short tutorials then we'll go through some different methods of moving up in throughout the rows of these taller stitches. So you're going to grab your hook and we're going to crochet our first stitch into this 4th chain. These 3 chains here that we're skipping will be your first, will act as your first treble crochet, so it'll kind of turn up on itself like this. So what we want to do is to place our first official one. You're going to take your hook and we're going to begin by yarning over, so exactly the same as we've done it in chaining and in double crochets. We're just going to push the yarn away from us, rotating the hook towards us and downwards and inserting it into the center of that 4th chain, and it'll look like you've got 3 loops of yarn on your hook at this point. Catch onto that yarn and pull through, back through that chain and pull up a loop, so you'll have 3 strands of yarn on your hook, and then you want to yarn over, so again pushing the yarn away from you, rotating your hook towards you and down, and pull through just the first 2 loops of yarn on your hook, and then push your hook forwards again and it'll leave you with 2 strands of yarn on your hook, yarn over and pull through both of those. So let's do that again into the next chain. So we're going to begin by yarning over, so pushing the yarn away from you, rotating your hook towards you and down and into the center of that next chain. Catch onto that strand of yarn, it's at the front of your hook, and just pull it through the chain, pulling up a loop, so you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So again, moving into my next stitch, we're going to yarn over, insert the hook into that next chain, catch onto the yarn, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So let's slow this down for you a little bit. So as you can see, I've just got 4 chains now left to work into. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that next chain and pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert my hook into that next stitch and pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through the last 2. So I'm at my last chain now, so I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So to get up to row 2, what I'd suggest for absolute beginners is we just chain 3. So you're going to push your yarn away from you, rotate your hook towards you and down and pull through, and you're going to do that 3 times, 1, 2 and 3, and then turn your work. So this chain 3 will count as your first treble crochet of the row, and we should have 10 going across. So let's count them up from the row below. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one here is my 10. These are the 3 chains that we skipped originally from our foundation chain. So I want to make sure that I have 10 going across this way to keep nice straight edges. So what we're going to do is this first stitch here that the chain 3s are coming out of, we're not going to place anything into that one. We're going to work into the second stitch along, and you're just going to yarn over, insert your hook from front to back into that stitch, and it'll go underneath the 2 strands of yarn that make the V and the top of that stitch. Yarns at the front of the hook, catch onto that yarn and pull up a loop. So you'll have 3 loops of yarn on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2, and then yarn over, pull through your last 2. And you're just doing that all the way along. So I just want to get to the end of this row, and then I can show you how we work into the top of our chain. So we're going to yarn over, inserting our hook, pulling up a loop, 3 loops of yarn on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Moving into my next stitch, yarning over, inserting my hook and pulling up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over into my next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over into my next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over and into my next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over into the top of my next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that should be 9 stitches that I've just done. So let's just count them across, so including my chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So we just need to place our very last stitch into the top of this chain 3. So when you look at your chain 3, if you look at it from side on, you'll be able to see those V's. Let's just move this yarn out of the way. So you'll be able to see these V's here. So that's the first chain that you skipped, the second chain that you skipped, and the third chain that you skipped is just here up at the top. And it's this third one here that we're working into. Sometimes it can be a little bit tight to get your hook into this stitch, so just have a little bit of patience. I do like to go underneath 2 of the loops when I'm doing this, just because it gives it a nicer finish than if I just caught onto 1 of the loops. What you're going to do is yarn over. Start to secure your work by holding on to the second chain down, so the one that's in the middle of this stitch, and just push your hook through that chain so it's picking up 2 of the strands of yarn that make that V. Yarn over and pull through. Again, you'll have 3 loops of yarn on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that's how we work up rows for an absolute beginner of UK treble crochet, US double crochet. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you are stuck for anything at all, then please leave me a comment below and I'll try to answer you best as I can. Apart from that, happy hooking, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!